You felt it, didn't you? That quiet shift you couldn't explain. Not loud, not dramatic, just different. And here's the unsettling part. It already started before you even noticed it. Something in your world crossed a line, and it didn't ask for permission. It didn't warn you. Now things feel slightly off, but not in a broken way, in a precise way. And most people misread this moment. They think something is wrong, but this isn't chaos. This is alignment in disguise. Because there's a kind of weird that shows up right before things change, not fall apart, but finally open. And this is the part most people miss. You're not losing control. You're losing what no longer fits. One day, something mattered deeply. Then suddenly, it didn't. No build-up, no emotional goodbye, just silence where attachment used to live. And that feels unnatural because you expected a transition, some kind of explanation. But this didn't come with reasons. It came with clarity. And here's the strange part. You didn't choose to detach. It just happened, like a switch turning off, without asking you first. Most people call this burnout or boredom, but it's neither. It's completion. Whatever that thing gave you, you already took from it. There's nothing left there, and once something reaches that point, it doesn't fade slowly. It disappears cleanly. But while that disconnect happens, something else begins. Quietly. Space opens. Clarity increases. Without effort. And you didn't even ask for it. But then there's that one thing that refuses to work, no matter what you do. Everything else flows, but this keeps looping. You fix it once, it returns. You adjust again, still unresolved. And that repetition feels intentional, because it is. Not everything that resists you is meant to move forward with you. And this is where people make a mistake. They push harder, they force solutions. But the more they push, the tighter the loop becomes. Because this isn't asking for effort. It's revealing a boundary. And here's where things shift. This phase has a cost, but not the one you expect. It's not struggle. It's not visible effort. It's discomfort without explanation. You don't feel like your old self, but you're not fully new either. You exist in between. And this is where things change. Because most people panic here. They try to go back to what felt familiar. Even if it wasn't right. Even if it wasn't working. Because unfamiliar feels unsafe, even when it's necessary. But this weird feeling is not a mistake. It's the process. And the ones who move forward do something different. They don't escape it. They observe it. They stop labeling it as negative and start recognizing it as change. But here's something deeper, something most people overlook. Your mind is still adjusting, even when you're resting. That's why your dreams feel different, more vivid, more precise, not random, not meaningless. They're not showing the future. They're reorganizing the present. Every symbol, every strange detail, it's your mind sorting through what no longer fits. And if you ignore it, it feels like noise. But if you notice the patterns, you start to understand the shift. Now, pause for a second. because this part matters. People who truly move ahead don't look normal while doing it. Their decisions seem off. Their timing feels strange. They leave things early. They ignore what everyone chases. And from the outside, it looks like a mistake. But it isn't. It's independence forming. Because predictable behavior creates predictable outcomes. And predictable outcomes rarely change your life. So this gap you feel between you and normal, that's not isolation. That's separation from old patterns. And slowly, something stabilizes, but not in a dramatic way. Things begin to work, quietly. Effort reduces. Flow increases. Nothing explodes. Nothing announces itself. But resistance fades, bit by bit. And this is where people miss it. They're waiting for something big. But real change starts small and repeats consistently. And then comes the most unsettling part. Your timing starts to feel off. You arrive just late or just early. You miss things, but not completely. And at first, it feels frustrating. But look closer. There's a pattern. Because you're not just missing things, you're being redirected away from something or toward something else. And this is where it gets precise, almost uncomfortable. Moments happen that feel too exact to ignore. You pause for no reason, and later, it makes sense. You avoid something unintentionally and realize you needed to. That's not randomness. That's adjustment. And once you see it, frustration disappears because you're no longer measuring based on immediate outcomes. And here's the final shift, the one everything was building toward. You stop needing confirmation to move forward. Not because you know everything, but because you don't need to. And that's real confidence. Not loud, not visible, but stable, unshaken. You stop overthinking every step. You stop seeking approval. You just move with quiet certainty. And even when things aren't clear, you continue because something inside you has already aligned. And that's the part most people never reach because they turn back too early. But you didn't. You stayed. So don't rush what comes next. Don't force clarity. Let it unfold at its own pace. Because what feels strange right now is not random. It's precise. And when it finally clicks, you won't just understand it. You'll realize it was guiding you the entire time.